So you just got your first 3D printer, and now you want to finally make something. Well, this is the perfect video for you. We're going to be using a software called Tinkercad, and it works right in your browser, so you don't need to download anything or anything like that. And hopefully you got a bamboo printer, because we're going to be doing a $40 bamboo gift card giveaway. More about that at the end of the video, though. To start off, we'll go over some movement. To zoom in, you're going to use your scroll wheel, or you can use these plus and minus arrows on the side. Um, if you want to spin around, let's throw a shape in. If you wanted to look at the back, if you're using a mouse, you would right click and then just move your mouse around, and you can do whatever you want. If you are on laptop, I highly recommend using the square on the top left. If you actually just click it, you can spin it, and that makes it super easy for laptop users. And then you can also quick to the front, quick to the top, front edge, corners, things like that. And the only other thing is if you press your mouse wheel, you can shift on the 2D plane, which is very useful. And that's really it for movements. Um, let's get into some fundamental stuff. This is your ruler tool. This is a super important tool for beginners, I find. I like to always be on 1 millimeter when I'm first started out. Most of my prints I tried to make big to make it easier for myself. Um, so drop your ruler down, and then we'll head into the settings on the bottom. And right here, your width and your length, you're going to set that to whatever your printer's build plate size is. Mine's 256 by 256. Yours might be smaller, it might be bigger. Whatever yours is, just set it to that. And that's the only thing we need to change in here. If you want, you can mess with this stuff, but I'm not going to. So let's go over the simple things. Drop a square in here. I highly recommend doing this with me. And I'll go over the ruler tool real quick. The ruler just shows you your shape sizes, really, for a beginner. That's really the best part about it. So you know that your cube is 20 by 20 by 20. Uh, so we know that this front edge is at 20. So if we wanted to put this halfway, we would put it at 30. And that's some easy things and nice things with the ruler. But we're going to get into the things on the top right of our screen, this line of stuff. So the first one is the light bulb, which is the hide select. So when you select an object and press that, it just disappears. And then you press the light bulb on the top here, and it shows back up. The next three are all grouping things. So let's bring in a hole and put it right there. And if you left click and drag, you'll get the selector box. Or if you hold down shift and click, you can select multiple items. And then while still holding shift, you can unselect singular items. And the first one we'll do is the bundle group. Now the bundle group meshes both things together, but it doesn't do it how the group feature does. So let me do this, or the union group. And select both of these, and we'll union group this one. This meshes both items together, and is visually appealing. This to the left that we used bundle group did the same exact thing that the union group did. The only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't render a new shape to save on memory. So this in the eyes of your 3D printer, when it tries to print it, will print it how the item is on the right. It just won't show you that in here for memory reasons. So if you need to group a lot of things together, Tinkercad can really bog down when you start using a lot of shapes. So you can use the bundle group to your advantage if you need to bundle a bunch of things, instead of using the union group. But 99% of the time you will use the union group to bring two things together. And the next one is a weird one, and the uses for it become apparent as you do more and more 3D printing. But just for an example, I'll show you. This is the group by intersection. So it will only group things together that are touching. So when we click that, we get this really weird shape here. And it seems kind of useless, but you will find a use for it, I promise. You just won't make a 3D print based off of that one feature. It will be a feature that you're like, oh my god, this print I'm making totally could use that type of thing. And then the last feature is bring in two cubes and just union group them as normal. And then we have the ungroup. So if you don't like what you just did, click that and it will just ungroup them. And you can remanipulate the objects on their own again. I will delete this. And I will add this for the next item. And we'll group it. The next one we have is the align tool, which you have to have more than one item selected. So let's select both of these. And when you click that, you'll get these dots. And so this will center it from left to right, and this will push everything into the middle center. And so both of these items are now centered. And then if you have different heighted objects, you can also use this and then centerize these. And if you press D, it will take anything from above or below the build plate and set it back to level 0. If you see here, we set it to 2, press D, goes to 0. But let's group these. And we'll use the next tool, the mirror tool. And you can do left to right, front to back, top to bottom. And that one's super simple. Now this one's kind of a really useful one. Let's say you have an object like this cube and you want it to be slanted, but you want to make the height bigger. So let's just say you wanted it to be this long and tilted. Well, if you have it tilted like this, you can't just drag it down to make it smaller. If you use the height tool, you'll kind of flatten it at the same time and it looks really bad. So what you would do is click on that object and on the far right, click shape work plane. And now you can extrude this out. And if you don't like it there, what you can do is lift it up and that, or what you can do is press W and put the work plane on here, and then you can extrude that side, or press W again, put it on this side, and you can extrude from there. This is a really great feature because when you start tilting things and you want to make it, you want to change the heights and things like that, it becomes impossible if you don't use this tool. But after you do that, you're going to want to, I'm just going to delete that and put the work plane back down here. Just so you can see what I just did. Put the work plane on the side there, and when you're done manipulating this, get the work plane out again by pressing W and just put it on the bottom and it'll come back onto here. And the next thing we have is the drop work plane. So if you have a work plane out with W and you press D, it will put the item on the new work plane, just like it does on the other ones, but on your custom work plane. And so we will go back to our old work plane and drop that down to there. And those are all the things on the top that you need to know. I will get into a little bit about actually modeling your parts and things like that. So the biggest hurdle is going to be tolerance. Tolerance, tolerance, tolerance. If you don't know your printer's tolerances, your prints aren't going to work and you're going to get frustrated. And by tolerance, what I mean is, let's say you wanted to put a magnet in this block, and we will make a magnet real quick with this cylinder. And let's say our magnet is 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters tall. You're going to need a bigger cube than the magnet, obviously. But if you wanted to put this, if you wanted to put a magnet in here and you just made an exact copy of your 20 by 20 by 20 magnet and put it in here and grouped it, this magnet, after you print this block, will not fit in here because the tolerance of the 3D print needs to be slightly bigger than what you want to put in there for it to actually fit. So my rule of thumb is to always increase by 0.2. So we're going to make this a 20.2 and then regroup that on here. And at least for my printer, you're going to have to test. So what I would do is I would duplicate this, ungroup it, and change it to, let's say, 20.25. Then regroup it and print out both of these and see which one fits better. If neither of them work, you're going to have to go back and increase to maybe 20.3, 20.35. And then you'll know in the future if you ever need to put a round object into something, it needs to be 20 point whatever bigger. And that's a big thing because a lot of people, when they start, they'll make their holes the exact size as the part, and it's never going to fit, and it's super frustrating. On the topic of tolerance, let's go to threads because threads are pretty fun to make. I always use this one, and it's called the isometric thread. And let's just make something quick. I never mess with these on the actual part. I never manipulate it myself. I'll always do it on this page. So I will make the diameter 20 and I will make the pitch 3. And then I will bring in what I want to have threads on it. I'll increase this to 25 and make the height 5 just for right now. And what I will do, or actually I'll make it 8. So I will duplicate the threads and make it a hole. Now we will center or align these things. You can pull up the align tool just by pressing L and then group them. Now, if you don't do this next step, your threads will never fit together. This is just like trying to put two cylinders that are the same size together. Click on your part that's actually going to be printed as threads and come over here to this thread scale. I change mine to 0.8 because my printer seems to be pretty good by reducing or increasing by 0.2. And as you can see, if you look at this little piece on the tip of the thread, if I undo what I just did, you'll see it get bigger. I guess it won't let me undo it, but if I change it to 1, it gets slightly bigger. So I do 0.8, and that just gives you a little bit of wiggle room in here. And this is another one you're going to have to test, but you need to test it by reprinting the thread, not the hole. And maybe do 0.8, 0.75, and 0.7. And whichever one feels the best, then you know forever that that's the tip scale or the thread scale that you need to do. And I always like to turn up the rotation, and you'll see that this, see how blocky these threads are? Oh, that's going to do that. What do I want? Oh, segments, sorry. Increase your segments, and you'll see that this blockiness goes away. It's really hard to make the threads not blocky on Tinkercad, but that helps. That's better. Now it's very smooth, and that'll also help fit into there. And that's basically it for the basics of threads. what else could we do? There's a couple tools. This is the sketch tool. And this is super nice if you um, want to draw your idea. So let's just do something quick. Can do sort of like a car. Just the windshield like that. Drop it down, back like that. This can be annoying. Sometimes it happens quite a bit. If you press the back space button, it'll go back one line into. I'm going to drag this out because it seems like I'm not going to be able to dodge this thing. Just zoom in like that, and then like that. And then we've got some idea of a car. You can mess around with these two buttons over here. This one lets you just make a new print. If you click it and press this, you can actually adjust these. And so I want to curve these. Like that. Since we're just making a little car. I'm not going to go too crazy into details with that though. Yeah, and you can do, you can curve your lines and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. One other thing you can do with the sketch features is, let me see, is that on here? Open path? No. So then we just finish sketch, and now we have a little car. There it is. Finish sketch. So if you come over here, they added these new features called the twist, and you can actually spin your objects now. It's very weird. But if you ever wanted to do like those fidget toys and things like that, being able to twist your things are very, very useful. So like that, and then you would twist it, and you can do a bunch of different things with this. It's super, super, super nice feature they added. The next tool is the revolve sketch. So let's just say you were trying to make like an exhaust cover that was a cylinder that curved at the bottom into a flat piece. You could do something like this, where it's basically straight down and then slowly curves, and then you have your base, and then you click this check mark and you have your revolved piece. You can do some edits with this and stuff like that. But if you ever need to make something that's a cylinder, but you need to do complex shaping at the bottom, use the revolve sketch tool. The next thing we have is the scribble, and this is if you want to make bendy lines, things like that. If you have intricate shapes that you're copying from like a drawing or something, you could do it like that, and then it'll show you your preview. So that's a nice tool. And then you have all these basic tools, or basic shapes, if you come to here, there's a whole bunch of different shapes. Hardware is super useful. Shape generators are super useful. I would come in here and check out everything though. Make something new every day with a new shape to get yourself comfortable with some of these shapes. And try to stick to using these parameters, because it makes it really easy for you to tell what's going on instead of, going like that. And now it's 55 by 55 by 55. But in here, it doesn't say that. So if you grow out of needing to use the ruler, or you just don't like it, it makes it very annoying to find out what your dimensions are, because you have to click this, then that, or you have to click this, then that. So I would definitely try to just stick with the parameters. Um, and then you've got comments. I like comments. Um, they're super annoying if you accidentally click it though, because you can't delete it unless you click into this box. Um, yeah, so that's really everything you need to know about Tinkercad. Um, it's a super simple platform to use. The hardest thing for you as a new user is going to be with coming up with ideas. Um, if you can come up with the idea of what you want in not just like, oh, I want to make a fidget toy. If you can think of what that fidget toy looks like, try drawing it on a piece of paper and then come into Tinkercad and use that piece of paper, and it'll be so simple, I promise. If you take the 10 minutes to feel like you don't know what's going on, the rest of the time you ever use a CAD software will be much easier after you get past that first 10 minutes of figuring out what's going on. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. Message me on Instagram. Message me on my Maker World profile. All of that stuff will be in the description below. And like I said at the beginning, we have a giveaway going on. We're going to be doing a giveaway once a month for the rest of the year for a $40 Maker World gift card, as long as we get 100 subscribers every month. This first giveaway, I'm not going to make that stipulation. But after that, the first month on February 22nd to March 22nd, we need 100 subscribers. And I hope you guys like the content. I hope you guys can get us there. The way to enter the giveaway is like the video and then just comment down below um, entry. That's all you have to do. Yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know how I'm doing in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, and you guys have a good one. Good luck.